Hey everyone, it is Ed Gutowski. What I wanted to do was just to kind of create a welcome video, welcome you to class, just talk briefly about the class and the textbooks. And I want to start off with some good news and some bad news. Good news is, hey, our class is going to be loads of fun. The books are fantastic. It's going to be a great class, right? So there's the good news, right? English 300, 1A, they're changing the name of it in the fall. But anyways, our class is going to be a lot of fun. It focuses on rhetoric and argument. Students love the rhetoric and argument part of class. So the good news, class is going to be a lot of fun. Bad news is, hey, we're a 6-week class, and a 6-week class goes by really fast. So you're going to want to make sure you balance your time in our class. I do give students, so basically how class is set up is that you only have to check in on each Monday. So each Monday you come in, you check in, you read over the agenda, and then you have the full week to complete class assignments. Everything is due by Saturday at midnight. So the good news, first good news, class is going to be a lot of fun. Bad news is 6 weeks, class is going to go by fast. Also, let me give you the second piece of good news. The good news is I'm a pretty easy grader. Most students generally get an A out of my class, so there's good news. The bad news is, two pieces of bad news, right, is students who don't do all the work, then the grades can kind of start drop off. You can start getting B's and C's. And the really bad news is students who use AI generally fail my class, so keep that in mind as well. But overall, hey, I'm really excited for our class. Want to kind of just talk about the textbooks for class. All of them are going to be required. First book we're going to read is Into the Wild. I've been using this book for a while now. Students kind of love this book. It's a lot of fun. It's engaging for students, and generally I get really good papers with Into the Wild. Students can very much relate to the main character of the book. Into the Wild is about a young kid. He's kind of similar in many of the positions that I find students in my class are. He's going to university, has these big questions about life. You know, he's asking himself, why am I going to college? What do I want out of my education? What do I want out of life? And this kid basically graduates from college and does something bizarre and crazy, basically gets rid of all of his possessions, gets rid of all his money and disappears, and no one knows what happens to him. 6 months later, he walks into Alaska with a pistol and 10 pounds of rice and tries to live off the land and ends up dying of starvation. And the author, Jon Krakauer, wanted to know what would motivate a kid who has everything going from him, having some money, having a good education, having a family that loved him, right? Why would he do something so rash? And basically, we're going to set up the class where you guys are kind of like the private detectives that the family hires, and we're going to kind of figure out what is it that motivates this student. And students really like this book because there's some interesting arguments it raises. Some students who have read it before, sometimes this book is taught in high school, they like coming back and looking at it the angle that we'll kind of look at the book. So Into the Wild is the first book we'll look at. We'll end class with the second book called The Hate U Give. This is a book that it kind of deals with issues of kind of race and racism in America. Students really like the book. They like the issues it deals with. I get really good papers, so we'll kind of end class with that. Two other books, we're going to use the Siegel Reader Essays. Since part of our class will focus on rhetoric and argument, this book has a collection of arguments that are engaging for students. I actually, believe it or not, the Siegel Reader gets voted the best book in my class, and found that, the one complaint about it is that we don't use it enough. And the last book we're going to look at is the St. Martin's Handbook. It is important that you kind of buy the St. Martin's Handbook. It'll help us understand the rhetoric and argument part of class. I do use some grammar exercises in it, so you're going to want to make sure you get that book as well. But those are the books for class. That's kind of the agenda. Hey, I'm super excited for our class. It's going to be loads of fun, and I can't wait to see what you think. I'll do my best to balance 6 weeks. to make it not too much work, but we do got a lot to cover. And I look forward to week 1, kind of seeing what you think of how you want to define rhetoric and arguments. And then there's some poems that are the foundation of class, and then we'll get into the wild. Email me if you need anything, and we'll go from there.